Maria had always prided herself on independence. At 30, she had a steady accounting job, a small apartment in a bustling part of the city, and a few acquaintances she called friends. But despite all her efforts, there was a void she carried away quietly, a sense that life was passing her by while others thrived. She didn't admit it to anyone, not even herself at first. But deep inside, a quiet yearning had taken root. She wanted love, companionship, the warmth of a life that felt full rather than a routine. She had seen it everywhere, especially in the life of her childhood best friend, Linda. Linda was everything Maria secretly wished she could be. Married to David, a thoughtful and gentle man, she lived in a cozy sunlit apartment filled with laughter, music, and small simple luxuries. They cooked together, they traveled together, they celebrated even the smallest victories together. On social media, it looked perfect. Beautifully curated photos, thoughtful captions, and that unshakable aura of happiness. Maria would tell herself she was happy for her friend. She would smile, nod, even send congratulatory messages. But each time she saw a photo of Linda laughing with David, each time she read another post about a happy dinner or a weekend getaway, something twisted inside her chest. A pang of envy she couldn't quite name, growing quietly, like a vine creeping along her heart. It started with a small Saturday gathering. Linda had invited Maria to a backyard barbecue with a few friends. Maria promised herself she would simply enjoy the day, that she wouldn't let her emotions dictate her behavior. The aroma of grilled meat and fresh herbs drifted through the air. Linda laughed as she playfully flickered water at David while he tried to keep the skewers from falling. Maria stood near the kitchen, a glass of wine in her hand, watching. She smiled politely, commenting on the food, the weather, and the music. But inwardly she smiled. Why her? Why not me? The thought growled at her. She had imagined herself here, in this scene, but it always felt just out of reach. Every laugh, every glance, every shared joke between Linda and David felt like a spotlight on what she lacked. She told herself to be happy. She even tried to help with the barbecue, chopping vegetables and arranging plates. Yet, the more she tried, the more invincible she felt. It wasn't that she wanted to ruin the day. She wanted to belong, to be the person who mattered. Yet envy built a wall she couldn't climb. A few days later, the two met at their favorite cafe. The smell of roasted coffee beans filled the air, mixing with the faint sweetness of pastries. Linda, radiant as ever, recounted a small surprise David had prepared for her birthday. He woke up early, made breakfast, and even cleaned the kitchen afterwards, Linda said, her voice glowing with affection. Sometimes I feel like the luckiest woman alive. Maria forced a laugh, then muted words she would regret instantly. Well, enjoy while it lasts. Men always change. Don't trust them too much. Linda's smile faded. For a moment, Maria saw the hurt in her eyes, sharp and immediate. But Linda swallowed it, changed the subject, and tried to keep the conversation light. On the way home, Maria's thoughts churned. Why did I say that? She asked herself. I didn't mean it. Or did I? Her envy was growing like wildfire, consuming the warmth of nostalgia, of shared memories, of years of friendship. She began avoiding Linda's calls, skipping messages, and when she did answer, she found reasons to criticize. You are too dependent on David, she wrote in one text. Marriage should trap you. Even at work, Jealousy seeped into her life. Maria's office was full of bustling computers, ringing phones, and the constant chatter of colleagues. She confided in Sandra, a close co-worker. Linda acts like her life is perfect. It's so annoying, Maria said, sipping her coffee. Sandra raised an eyebrow. Or maybe she's just happy. Why does that bother you? Maria shook her head, unwilling to admit the truth. She didn't want to sound petty, but the truth was undeniable. She felt small next to Linda's happiness. Each social media post, each casual story about David's thoughtfulness was a reminder that she was missing something fundamental. To make matters worse, Maria's apartment felt increasingly empty. She would come home after long hours at work, cook a simple meal, and eat in silence. The city outside her window burst with life, lights flickering across distant streets, laughter echoing from nearby cafes, and Maria felt as though she were trapped behind a glass wall, watching the world but never fully participating. Linda's birthday finally arrived. She had planned a small party, and hoping to rekindle their connection, Maria decided to attend, though the bitterness in her heart made every step towards the celebration heavy. The backyard was lit with fairy lights. Music hummed softly in the background, and couples laughed and danced. There, Davy made a toast. To my wife, my best friend, Linda. You make every day brighter, and I'm grateful for having you in my life. Everyone smiled and clapped. Maria smiled as well, but it was a fragile thing, barely hiding the storm within her. She then whispered to a guest nearby, Don't be fooled, it won't last. Nothing ever does. Linda overheard her. Her eyes smiled with tears, but she chose silence, unwilling to spoil her celebration. Later that night, she sent Maria a message. I don't know what's happening. I feel like you resent me. I hope our friendship still matters to you. Maria read it. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She wanted to explain, to apologize, but pride held her back. Instead, she deleted the message and went to bed, the weight of guilt pressing against her chest. A week later, life intervened in a way Maria could never have expected. Driving home late from work, rain poured down slicking the streets. Her mind wandered to the thoughts of Linda, of what she didn't have, of the loneliness she felt every night. Then, a sharp curve came too fast. Her car skidded. The world tilted. Metal screamed, pain exploded, and darkness swallowed her. She woke up in a hospital bed, her leg in a cast, alone. No family nearby, no friends. A few colleagues had sent messages. Her phone sat on the bedside table, glowing with shallow words of concern. Maria felt the weight of isolation more than the pain in her leg. Then on the third day, familiar voices broke the silence. Linda and David walked in, carrying food, flowers, and a concern that immediately warmed the cold hospital room. Maria, you didn't even tell me. We had to hear from Sandra. Linda said, her voice trembling. Why didn't you call me? I didn't want to bother you, Maria whispered, shame cutting through her voice. David smiled. You are family, and family doesn't need an invitation. The days that followed were filled with small but profound acts of care. Linda cooked meals for Maria, helped with the hospital paperwork, cleaned her apartment, and visited daily. David brought laughter, small gifts, and support that felt endless. Maria began to notice details she had overlooked. How patient Linda was with people. How David never complained when helping. How their kindness never wavered, even when Maria's jealousy had driven her away. Then one quiet evening, Maria broke down completely. I've been so jealous of you, Linda. I thought you had everything I wanted. I pushed you away instead of being happy for you. Yet here you are, still caring for me. Linda held her hand gently. Maria, friendship isn't about who has more or less. It's about standing by each other. I never needed you to be perfect. I just needed you to be my friend. Jealousy blinds us, Maria. Kindness opens our hearts. And therefore they made up. Weeks turned into months. Maria healed physically and emotionally. She wrote in her journal, reflecting on envy, pride, and the unexpected grace she had received. Slowly, she reconnected with Linda, not as a rival, but as a cherished friend. She returned to work with renewed energy, made small changes in her life to pursue joy, and allowed herself to celebrate the successes of others without resentment. Even the small routines became meaningful. Cooking dinner, walking through the park, laughing with Sandra at work. She discovered that life didn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. The lesson was simple but profound. Kindness can heal even the deepest wounds, and jealousy destroys more than it ever protects. Maria had learned finally that happiness wasn't a competition. It was something you could cultivate within yourself, and when you shared it, it grew. And from that day forward, Maria carried a quiet peace, no one that reminded her jealousy destroys relationships, but kindness heals them. Life's blessing, when received with humility, can illuminate even the darkest corners of the heart. And so, friends, the lesson from this story is that love is not a competition, and that a heart cannot be healed by hurting another. Kindness does not make you weak, it makes you whole. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who might need this message, and subscribe for more powerful life stories. See you in the next video. Bye.